Hey y'all, it's Talia Janae, and welcome back to the Licensed Yapper podcast. Welcome back, everyone. How have you been? How has your week been? How has your weekend been? I hope you had a great weekend. I love speaking to you guys every Monday morning, or if you're listening to me throughout the week. I just love talking to you guys, chatting with y'all, and getting my thoughts out because up here it gets a little crowded. So it's good to get these thoughts out. I have so much to talk about, and there's so much that I want to hit on, and so much that I want to kind of speak about. There's been one topic that I think I've been kind of waiting on and like waiting to talk about just to get more information on. It's also a very big pop culture topic that I feel like has been making its rounds around Instagram, TikTok, especially news sources, all medias. I feel like everybody keeps talking about this, and there's a lot of sensitivity to this topic, but I think it's like important to what's but I think it's very important to address these things, even though I feel like you have to be very sensitive at the same time. So it's hard to talk about it, but I feel like we're getting to a point where we have to be open and honest about about certain things, and keeping things quiet isn't always the best option. So let's dive into our pop culture topics, kind of gonna tie into our topic for the day. I feel like everybody has seen all of the chat about, Ariana Grande's body and how she looks different than she does in the past, or how she even looked different than she did a year ago, 2 years ago. And then recently it came out where Jenna Ortega was doing an interview, and it came out about her body as well, about how her body looks drastically different than what her body used to look like. Now, before I hop in on them personally and like their separate issue, because I think again there's some sensitivity there. We're talking about, people's bodies, women's bodies, and a woman's body has been talked about since the beginning of time. So it's not new, or it's not new information that we're again talking about this. It's kind of annoying, but also I feel like at the same aspect we should address it in a certain way. So before I get into them, I want to talk about this thing of like thinness, this obsession with being the thinnest as possible, skinniest as possible. I feel like it's like a obsession that Hollywood has, and it's also an obsession that everybody on the internet has as well. You know, living in the day and age of GLPs and everybody having a GLP and everybody on GLPs or peptides, it's very scary. I feel like even for the most confident woman you could ever meet, watching all of this on the internet, it does make you think, do I need this? Even if you might not need it. And, as someone who I worked in the fitness industry for social media for about a year and a half, and I saw a lot in that year and a half, and I learned a lot about not only just like health for your body, but also different ways that people use to preserve how they look or to get to their goals. Um, and people will go to the extreme. People will do anything they can to get there. And, you know, I feel like every time I'm on TikTok, everybody's always telling me like there's like ads for like, okay, if you don't want the GLP shot, there's like these patches, or there's always something just pushing skinniness and thinness. And I feel like it's different if you're pushing healthy, like a healthy lifestyle, versus being skinny or thin. Because I think we all know just because you're skinny and thin doesn't mean you're healthy. But I feel like that's being pushed a lot on us. Even I feel like everybody's like favorite influencer, whether they're just a lifestyle influencer or a fitness influencer, they're pushing this whole thing of this is how, follow this routine of how I got like this, or how I got my body this way. But 100% they're on GLPs. Like they're acting like that they are in the gym 24/7 eating the cleanest of food when they're actually on GLPs. And I feel like a lot of influencers have started exposing other influencers, which I think is a little crazy, but not saying anybody by name really, but just letting the public know like your favorite influencers are telling you this is how I got this body type, but realistically, they're all on GLPs. They're all on GLPs, they're all on peptides, they're all on things that are helping them. They're not out working out 5 days a week like they're telling you. Um, and it's like we're in the thinness, the skinny era. And I think it's interesting because I feel like growing up, I'm an early 2000s kid, early Gen Z. Okay, right before Gen Z gets a little weird, I'm early Gen Z. And I feel like I've seen a lot and I've seen trends come and go. Like, I can vividly remember when big butts were a thing, big hips were a thing, skinny waist, slim, thick. That was all a thing in every song. Every celebrity had the skinniest weight but the biggest booty. Like, that was the look for, I feel like, a lot of my youth, middle school. Every celebrity, that's how they were shaped. The hourglass figure, that was really what was pushed. Nicki Minaj, Kim Kardashian, the Kardashians, they really pushed that as well. They pushed it. Jennifer Lopez made a song called Booty. Like, that was what it was about. The big voluptuous booty, the tiny waist, that boom, slim, thick kind of figure was what was in, what was the now. And then now I feel like we're getting away from that. We've had celebrities do a reverse BBL where they kind of like we've seen celebrities do a reverse BBL or a skinny BBL now. Like, that's now the thing. Like, it's all about going back to your natural, losing the big lips, and it's fine. But I think where I have an issue with all of it is like, I mean, it's the world. Like, you are pushing the standards. So all these people got big BBLs. They got this is what they wanted. And then now you see everybody reversing to like the more natural look. And it's just like, first of all, you can't live your life impressing society or what you think society wants or what you think society likes. Because, first of all, society keeps changing. The trends and niches keep changing all of the time. You're going to be stuck in a trend that was 2010 and it's 2026 and it's not even relevant anymore. Nobody wants to look like that anymore. So now you've done whatever to your body to look that way, and now that's not even the look anymore, so you want to change it to go back. And I just feel like we're stuck in this pleasing. We're in a pleasing world. We're in a pleasing society, which is why I feel like you should love how you are. I don't have any gripes with plastic surgery or with anybody trying to get at all. I just think like if you don't love yourself how you are and you're trying to fix yourself to love yourself, that's not gonna work because you're gonna keep finding things to fix. It's like a tricky situation, and I'm not on plastic surgery today because that's a whole nother conversation and it's a tricky one. But I think like this whole thing of like wanting to be as skinny as possible. We've all seen it. We've all seen it on TikTok. Every time you swipe, everybody's showing off their waistline, how skinny they are, what they did to get this skinny. Everybody's in the comments like, please drop the workout routine. Please drop the workout routine. But there is no workout routine. It's called a shot that they keep in their little mini fridge and they do every single day. That's what it is. And I think we've like lost the plot a little bit because what are we now? Because whether you feel like you're doing it on purpose or not, and we all have our own minds, we all have our own will to do things. We get inspired by what we see on social media, TV. That's just what we get inspired by. So like I said, you can be the most confident woman ever, but you're watching someone and you're watching everyone get as skinny as possible. People that you might admire, whether they're a celebrity, whether they're an influencer, and you want to be that. You want to get there, you want to be that. And it's scary because I feel like every girl, every woman has gone through a phase of not liking their body. I think everybody has, but I think for women it's a really big thing. I think because society since the beginning of time, like I said, has always pushed women looking a certain way, how women is supposed to look, what is desirable to men. So at the end of the day, we all say like I'm doing this for me, I'm doing this for me, which we are, but there is a part of it that we hope that somebody out there that a man will find that attractive. Um that's just the way it is, you know? And I think we do a lot of things, or in the beginning, it was all about the male perspective, how a male sees a woman, how a male will want his woman to look, and that's just how what we've have to done. We've had to sit and watch TV show after TV show, seeing the most quote unquote perfect woman and try to emulate that when everybody's different and there's no perfect woman. And what you think might be perfect might not be perfect. You can't always want to be like someone because you never know what they're dealing with. You may see someone where you're like, I want to be her body, but you don't really know what she's doing to get there, right? You don't know whether she's doing positive things to get her body like that or negative. You also don't know, like, babe, genetics is a big thing. Genetics, genetics, genetics. That is just how she's built. She can't help it. That's why, like, you see a lot of things people are like, I don't work out. Yeah, they don't work out. That's just, they were the lucky pull of the draw, I guess, to have that. But that's also perspective because I feel like people will look at, skinnier women and be like, oh, they're so lucky that like they're just built like that. And there's curvier women that people are like, oh, she's so lucky she's built like that. I think it goes both ways. And I think as being a woman and being in, friend groups with all women and all girls, we all have heard like, oh, your body is so T, your body is so T. But those bodies can look so different, right? We all look different. And I know out of all of my friends' bodies look different. All of us. We all have different body shape, different body types, and that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. And I love that because and we all compliment each other as well because we all look good. Okay, we all look great, but again, there's always things that we would want different or to improve on. But I feel like with this now of everybody wanting to be as skinny as possible, I feel like for me personally, when I was younger, I think I spoke about this before on an earlier podcast. I mm, I think I think especially when I was younger and honestly still now, I'm not even gonna lie. I do look at myself, you know, when I get out the shower, when I do look at my body in the mirror and I do look at it, look how it looks from the side, from every angle. I want to know how my body looks. When people look at me, how does my body look? And I do look at myself and I tell myself, oh, I wish this was a little bit, my stomach was a tippy flatter. I wish my hips came in just a little bit more, I do that. I think as women, we all pick and pride our bodies. Whether you can say it's not healthy, it is healthy, we all do it. We all do it. Whether it's just what it is, right? Like, and I think I've struggled before with it. Like, I grew up cheering, and when you're cheering with some of the girls that are, the size of my pinky, you can see that. You can see that a lot. And I never went through like anything serious, like an ED or anything. But I did realize that my body looked different. I realized that I was not only shorter, but I had a shorter torso. So certain things looked different on me versus they did at other people because our just body types weren't the same. Um, and I remember like there was a point in time where I would walk down my high school hallway and look at every girl that passed by me and compare my body to hers. I did. I think a lot of girls did. I think a lot of girls do, still do. It's this thing of like wanting to be the skinniest, wanting to be the smallest. Um, you know, I I'm not really comparing my body to anybody. Not really. I'm not comparing my body to anybody else's really like that anymore. Like, I'm not walking down the street and comparing my body to someone else's, but it's like transition in a different way where now I like do like getting on the scale and like I like to see my weight at a certain like I like to be in between this weight and this weight and like I do get a little bit not upset with myself, but I do like when I see that number go up sometimes I'm like, all right, we need to get it together, no more Chick-fil-A. And the next day when I look at that scale and it's back down, I'm like, yes, like I can't lie and say I'm not like, yes, whew, good, like I do that. And I think it's different. Like I said, it's different in a way. I'm not like walking down the street and comparing myself to everybody anymore. But that number on the scale does bring some satisfaction when it's at the number that I like it to be at. And I feel like that is just something as women, we it was like we can't help that's how we feel. And I don't think every woman deals with this, but I think a lot of us does. And I think a lot of us, if not all of us, went through that of just like wanting our bodies to look different. And I remember, like, even now, I'll like look at pictures of myself, and I think we get on each other's so early. I think that's another thing. We have so many little girls watching us that we don't even know about, right? And I saw how much my body has changed from high school to now. I do not have the same body that I had. You know, in high school, I weighed way more. I weighed more than I did now. And when I look at pictures of myself, I'm like, ooh, baby, I had a chunky face. Like, I can definitely see. And through, like, even through college where I've, like, you know, I hate the word slimmed, but slimmed out a little bit, I could tell where my body kind of fell into my womanly body. I'm 24. I'm 24. Like, my body is just different than what it was in high school. It progressed different. Everything is sitting differently. You know, I'm a woman now. I'm 24. Like, our bodies are going to change. And I think a lot of women go through, like, oh, I wish I still had my body when I was 17 or when I was 15. And at the end of the day, when you look back, do you really want your body when you were 15? Like, do you? And I think we have to ask ourselves, like, do I want this? Do I want my body to look this way? Or is the internet telling me my body should look like this? I think that's what we need to think about, because I know for me, at my height and my weight, there is no way in the world that I would be walking this planet at 100 pounds. I don't even want to know what I would look like at 100 pounds. That is not healthy. I know for me, for my BMI, to be 100, for me to be Talia walking around at 100 pounds would be insane. That just would not, that would be not okay. And like, I'm sorry, like, we cannot, I think we put this aspect of like the number a lot. And like, you might be looking at someone and thinking, I want to look like that. But that girl is 5'10. Okay. She's 5'10. She's toned. Babe, you're not gonna look, you want to say you want to look like that, but that 5'10 and toned at 140 could look different on you. A girl at 5'10 who is, let's say, 140 pounds is gonna look completely different, like as someone on my height, 4'11 and 140 pounds. That's gonna be two different things, two different looks. We think the number is universal to everyone. Everybody's body types is different. Everything's different. 140 on a 5'7" girl versus 140 on me, who's 4'11, is gonna look drastically different. It's gonna look different. She's going to look skinnier than me because she's taller than me. She's leaner. And I think when you grow up and you learn those things, you start to realize, oh, like, duh, like, things sit differently. Like, I know for me, my weight doesn't sit in my waist. My weight sits in my thighs. My weight sits in my boobs. Like, my weight sits in different places than someone else's. Someone else's weight might be in their butt. Love that for them. You know what I mean? I wish I had a little bit more back there, but I don't. Like, everybody's weight is different. And when we embrace that we're different, that's when I think we're going to get better at it. I don't think it's ever an issue that will be solved. I think that is just how our minds are wired to think that way. And that's how society is presenting things to us. So I don't think we'll ever get away from it, but I think we can grow from it. We can recognize it, we can be in it, but we have to grow from it. Like, we have to realize that everybody's different. I am different. You know, and here's the thing, everybody could be as healthy as they want, right? Or look however they want to look. But we gotta stop comparing ourselves, because that's not helping anything. You're gonna keep chasing something that you'll never feel content with yourself, because you're always chasing the next trend or chasing the next person to look like, to emulate, to be like. Like, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna solve anything. And like I was saying before, like, our bodies are allowed to change. Like I was saying, my body is so much different than my high school body, than my college body. I think towards the end of my years in college, my junior and senior year, my body really started to shift. And that's okay, you know? And I happen to love where my body is now. And that's okay if it changes. You know, our teenage body, we're not supposed to look like our teenage body for the rest of our lives. I think everybody on the planet can say when they were 15 and 16, they weighed less than they did now. I think we can all say that. I think, or a lot of us could say that. But it's like, it's different. It's so much different, and it's okay for us to change. I think as women, we need to realize us in our stages is beautiful every time. Us in our teens is pretty, is beautiful. Us in our 20s, it's beautiful. Us in our 30s is beautiful. 40s are beautiful. We are beautiful all around, and our body's gonna change, yes. And you might like the change, you might not, and that's okay. But we have to allow our bodies to go to change. It's not gonna be the same all the time. But I have to say, and like I said, this is such a sensitive thing to talk about, and it kind of makes me uncomfortable, and I don't like talking about it, but I think it's an important topic, so I'm going to be as sensitive as I can. With celebrities, first of all, comparing yourself to a celebrity is a waste of time. It's a waste of time to do it to anybody, but to a celebrity, sorry, it's a waste of time. It is. It's just not worth it. You're going to be driving yourself insane for the rest of your life. But when it comes to the whole Ariana Grande of it all, we don't know what she's going through. She's only telling us what she wants to tell us, and whatever she doesn't want to tell us, she's not telling us. And I think it could come in two ways. It could come in a way, the chat, all the yapping, okay, could be in a way of like we care for her, we're worrying about her, we don't know what's going on, we see a big change, and as people that are fans of her or just are admired by her in whatever way, there could be care there could be worry, and I don't feel like feeling worry for someone is a bad thing, but I think it could also be damaging to her that everyone is talking about her body. I mean, yes, I'm not going to act here. I'm not going to sit here and act blind. It is very concerning. In a way of like, I care for this person. I don't know this person. I don't know this person from Adam to Eve, babe. First off, I want to say, I think it's normal for people to care. For a lot of people, this is someone we quote unquote grew up with, right? We watched as a child on Nickelodeon. We watched her through all of her phases, all of her eras. We have seen it all from when she was a teenager till now, and from when we were kids till now. We've witnessed how just her presence, right? So it's natural for us to see things, pick up on things, and I'm not going to sit here and act like she's not, she doesn't look. I'm trying to use my words wisely because it's such a sensitive topic, but I'm not going to sit here and act like her body is not drastically different than it was previously, because it is. And it's in a different way. It's in a way of whoa, what is, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, is everything okay? Like, is she going through something? And I think for a lot of people who a lot of people inspire to be these people, I think it's hard to see them going through something when they're not being vocal and honest about it. And again, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not seeing what's going on, because I am concerned. I'm sorry. I think she looks, oh, really thin. I'm sorry. I don't even know what the right words to say, but she does. And I think it could be a little bit, it's hard in her position because she has people looking up to her. She has little girls looking up to her. She has grown women looking up to her. And I think, whether she's doing it purposely or not, she could be pushing a wrong message. Um, some of the pictures of certain angles are scary. They're concerning. But at the end of the day, guys, we don't know what people are going through. And she has talked about multiple times of like, please stop talking about my body. Please stop mentioning my body. And which I understand where she's coming from, because again, as a woman, the one thing that is going to be a touchy subject for us is how we look. So hearing comments consistently all the time she puts on the internet about how her body looks can be draining, and can, if there's anything going on, be a detriment to that and could make it worse. She has not personally came out and said that she is personally going through anything, or she is personally dealing with any type of ED or anything of that sort. She hasn't said anything. But to the human eye, I think we can all agree she looks very different. Um, and and that's scary, And I understand where she's coming from with the please stop talking about my body. But when you're on a tour, as she is right now, currently, and performing in front of thousands and thousands of people, what do like do you want us to act like we don't see it? Do you want us to act like we just don't see what's going on and we're every picture you post we just shouldn't like I think it's a little far-fetched of the idea. I think yes, like in black and white, stop talking about people's bodies, but also like if we see something that might be concerning, wouldn't you want someone to say something? Like if we all turned a blind eye, and again, she hasn't said if she's dealing with anything, but even if she's not, let's say she's not, that's not. Mm, do we? Is that what we want to push to young girls? Like your bones should be showing. We should see your rib cage. Like, is that something we want to promote? And I think it's dangerous, honestly. I think it's dangerous. I think young girls, especially, are so impressionable. And I think, she's thinking about again herself of please don't talk about me. But we also have to, there's ugh. Like I said, it's such a sensitive topic, and I don't want to say anything that's like offensive. But I think at the end of the day, she has to take some responsibility. She didn't choose this, she didn't choose for people to be inspired and be admired by her, but she is. She has to take the responsibility of knowing the fact that people, girls, are going to look at her and want to emulate her. Whether she has to take that she has to take that responsibility on, whether it's positive or negative. And I don't think she's pushing out the right image, or she's pushing out the right story of any of this, of not talking about it. And again, she's a person, everybody goes through things differently. If she is going through something, she earns the respect and the time to deal with it. But to act like and kind of like gaslight everyone into thinking nothing is wrong, and like her team putting out messages of she's the healthiest she's ever been, it's like, girl, I literally can't. Like, I remember she said something that was like, the images y'all are comparing me to, I was the unhealthiest. And it's like, girl, then what is this? Respectfully. If that was the unhealthiest you looked, then what is this? Because to me, this is the unhealthiest. Yeah, you were probably eating like crap, but is this making it any better? Like, and I think as a people who are fans and people, there could be some concern. You know what I mean? I'm not the biggest, stan of Ariana Grande. Am I a fan? Yes. Do I love her music? Yes. And when I saw and when I see the pictures, I am concerned. But at the end of the day, I think, she keeps putting out this like I don't care attitude, but it's not helping. And I think she has a responsibility to talk about it. I think she could take as long as she wants to talk about it to not talk about it. But I think but I think people are, I don't know, I think when you have that big of a platform, sorry, you're going to be talked about. And I think we should give her the respect and the time to figure that out. But it is concerning. Some of the pictures are very concerning. Okay. And, um, yeah. Oh, it's such a weird thing to talk about. Again, women's bodies. But again, I think also stop comparing yourself to people. Again, we don't know what she's going through. And let's say she's probably not going through anything. But let's say she is. You're gonna change how you look to look like someone else when they're probably going through something horrible, but all you're thinking about is I want to look like that. Guys, I'm telling you, we're all different for a reason. God made us all different for a reason. It'd be boring if we all look the same. Like, please be so for real. And that's why you have to be comfortable in your skin. No one's going to be reach the height of 100% comfortable with themselves. Like I said, like the most confident woman can still look in the mirror and find things about herself that she would want to change. But to be like, I want to look like her, I want to be like her, I think it's a little, all right, like, come on. You know what I mean? The same thing with Jenna Ortega. Jenna posted, or Jenna did an interview, I forgot with who, and she looked very different than the last time I think we publicly saw her too. And I think everyone noticed. Even before you open the comments, you could notice it, and it was like, whoa. Like, what is going on? And again, it's like, what is the obsession with Hollywood with being skinny? And I feel like that's always kind of been an obsession, even through like the slim thick era, and even through the era of big booties and BBLs. Being skinny still was something that was being pushed. Being thinnest as she possibly can was being pushed, but now it feels like it's in our faces and nobody's talking about it, and everybody wants to act like we're crazy, and everybody's covering it up like, oh, this is just my body's just changed, or trust me, I'm the healthiest I've ever been. And it's like, no, girl, I'm sorry. I'm not even personally talking about that. I'm talking about anybody. If you're walking around with your rib cage showing, I can see every ligament in your body. I can see your collarbone. I can see your skeleton. I'm sorry, that's not healthy. Like, and I know that's harsh, but like, we have to be so real with ourselves. That's not. And even I think it's the same thing on the other scale. Like, I think, I feel like society pushes that being, you know, obese, I guess, in a sense, isn't healthy either. The show's called My 600 Pound Life. Like, it's very ingrained in our brains that I feel like big equals not healthy and small equals healthy. When honestly, small can equal not healthy too. Okay? At the end of the day, like, I don't know why it's always this black and white thing. No, it can go both ways. And I think it's very concerning. It's very concerning. And I hate the skinny epidemic that we are in. And I blame the GLPs and all these things that are pushing people to do this. I think honestly, medicine is used as a tool. Yes, use it as a tool, and it's there for to be used, but to use it in moderation, to use it in a healthy sense. If you're using it in a way, so you in an unhealthy way, it's more than just you taking that shot. It's mental. It's mental. Because there's even women who are so skinny that are still on GLPs. Why is your doctor prescribing you GLPs? I know girls in my hometown that they didn't even have to have like a doctor's excuse. They walk in somewhere, say, "Hey, I want to be on on GLPs. I want to be put on the shot or whatever," and they get it. No question, no further questioning, nothing of like a, okay, before we do this, how is your mental? How are you mentally? If you don't get to your desired weight, will that damage your mental? Do you think you will find this waste of time? What do you think this will do to you if you don't get to that goal? If you get to that goal and then you get off, but you can't stick to that goal, is that also going to ruin you? I think we also need to think about the mental aspect this is doing to women. It's not helping. It's not. Trust me, I watch tons of reality TV. Every housewife is on it. I don't care if you're on it. Actually, I really don't care. Like, it's not my business. I don't care. But I think if you're not taking care of your mental health while you're on it, if you're on it for the wrong reasons, that's a problem. If you're on it because, hey, you want to get a little thinner, girl, do what you want. I don't care. But if it doesn't matter how thin you get, or if you get at a standstill, I feel like we've all heard like people like, yeah, you can keep taking it, but your body kind of like sometimes succumbs to it, reaches like a plateau, and you don't get any thinner. Are you gonna freak out if you can't get thinner? Are you gonna freak out if your body isn't getting smaller? If you get off of it, are you gonna freak out if you gain the weight back? Like, if all those things are concerning to you, you shouldn't do it. You're not on it for the right reasons. Your mental isn't in the right place to be on it. But now women can just walk in there, say I want it, they get a little doctor's excuse, and they have it in their fridge the next day. Like, why aren't we taking steps to protect our brains, guys? I feel like we always lose that in situations. Like, our mental health is so important. And if this is going to damage your mental health, whether you gain the weight back or you can't get as thin as you want it to get, is that going to affect you? And if it is going to affect you, then maybe this isn't the right solution for you. And I feel like as doctors, instead of just wanting to put everybody on everything, sit them down and ask them these questions. Because if the answer is yes to a lot of that, I think maybe this isn't the right path for them to be on. Like, I think, like, I don't know why we're not, doctors aren't doing that. And probably they are out there. But hey, from what I know, and a lot of people that I know that are on them, they can just walk in and ask for it and they get it. It's as simple as that. That's a problem. That's an issue to me. I feel like you're pushing this epidemic that's going on, and it's going to continue. Like I said, women always have these expectations on themselves to look a certain way, speak a certain way. We have always had this on us. And it sucks. Being a woman is hard. I don't think men realize how hard it is being a woman and how much things we go through, how much our psyche goes through as little girls to now. It's exhausting. Even though it's so much fun and I love being a girly pop. It is the most exhausting thing ever. Having to worry about certain things, think about certain things. It's actually exhausting. But nobody's trying to protect that. They're just trying to give it to us. Hey, you want to be skinny? Here, be skinny. Hey, I want this. Okay, hey, do this. Instead of like preaching at a young age that you are beautiful, you are perfect, everything about you is amazing. And then if you get older and you decide to make decisions that you want to change certain things about your body, you have every right to do that. Go ahead and do it. But if you still don't believe that you'll be pretty after you do that, was it worth it? What was it for? We're not protecting our psyche. Same thing with plastic surgery. You know, you see women, I want to get this done, I want to get this done, I want to get this done. But when is it gonna be like, all right, I've I feel comfortable. They never feel comfortable. There's always the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. I'm not saying that's for everybody. I think for the extreme situations, like we've all watched, you know, botched and crazy things, women will do, there's a lot of people that will do anything to get that look. But it's like, when are you actually happy and okay with yourself? I feel like I've seen a lot of scenarios where that doesn't happen. They just want more and more and more. It's because every doctor is just telling them yes, 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 instead of saying, I can do this for you, but I want to make sure that your mind's in the right spot, your mind is in the right space to do this. And if it isn't, then we shouldn't. We should make them think about it a little bit longer. At the end of the day, you can't stop someone from doing anything. But I think, you know, I would feel better if I knew doctors, surgeons were saying, I can do this for you. I can give you this. But if this isn't really going to change anything, or you're going to keep wanting the next thing, maybe I'm just going to let you know this probably isn't going to change anything. I think that would be doing them justice instead of just like agreeing to anything. And it's so cliche to be like, love yourself. We're all perfect. That's so cliche. Like, shut up. Yes, I know, but I don't feel it. And I don't, you know, there's a lot of women out there that, you know, you can tell them that they're beautiful. Even like the whole thing with like, I know in the US, she's not very well known, but there's this, what is she? She's a celebrity. There's a celebrity in the UK. Her name's Katie Price. I know, like, when she was younger, people thought she was beautiful, she was gorgeous, but she didn't feel that way. So she got every single plastic surgery ever to keep improving the next thing. And she even said, like, the press, the paparazzi, everybody was telling me I was so beautiful, but I didn't think I was. She didn't think she was. So she changed everything about herself. She looks drastically different than she does now. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody says. If they say good things, if they say, oh my gosh, you're the most prettiest, you're the most pretty hot girl I've ever seen in my life. If you don't believe that, you're not gonna believe it and you're gonna change it. It's the same thing if people are saying, ugh, or if you were told younger when you were younger, you know, you're not that pretty or not that. That can also be effective. You going and changing everything about yourself. The people you think that are gorgeous don't think that about themselves. You know, people. That's just how it is. So like I said, you keep comparing yourself to people and not even knowing what they're where they're at. You keep comparing yourself, saying, I want to look like them, I want to be like this, when they don't want to be themselves. That's why you can only be you. And that's so cliche, and I hate that. But you have to be okay with how you are. Because trust me, it's not, if you don't love yourself now, you're not going to love yourself later. Well, I mean, really love yourself. I mean, truly love everything, how you look, everything about yourself. Trust me, I think nothing is wrong with wanting to improve about yourself. You know, I think I could hit the gym a couple more times a week and tone up a little bit. That's cool. But if I'm literally saying, I want to change this, 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 and if I change it and I still don't like it and I want to change it again, and then I want to change it again, and then I want to change it again, it's more than just a self-esteem thing. There is something in my brain. There is something that we need to figure out of why I never find myself okay, acceptable. I never find myself pretty. That is deeper. And you know, Hollywood's not helping. And that's why you shouldn't look up to celebrities for a lot of things. And you're doing yourself a disservice for doing that. I think we're really doing ourselves a disservice. Um, and it's like it's always been like crazy for women with society, but I feel like now we're really in the midst of it where like being as skinny as possible is the way to go. And it's like, yo, what are we doing? Like, what are we teaching young women, young girls? Like, this is not okay. And it's not okay. It's just not okay. And we have a responsibility to protect the next generation of women, and we're not. And that's on us. That's going to fall on us at the end of the day because they're watching what we're doing. We're watching what the people before us are doing. The people under us are watching what we're doing, and they're going to take that. We need to be cautious. We need to be cautious. Even normal people, not even, they don't have to be an influencer, they don't have to be a celebrity. The girl next door could be watching you and wanting to be like you, or wanting or getting inspiration from you without you even knowing it. And that's not your, you shouldn't weigh you shouldn't carry the weight of that, but we all need to know that people are watching us whether we like it or not. And we have to, we have to care about each other a lot more. We have to realize just because people are caring about us doesn't mean they're judging us or talking crap about us. At the end of the day, I think the general population wants everybody to be okay. And I don't know, it's scary. It's scary living in this world, and it's not going to get better. And hey, next year or the next, it's going to be, big butts are back in. And then what, are we going to reverse those skinny BBLs and get, like, what, like, it's exhausting. You can't follow the trends, yo. You just can't. Because things are in, things are out. It's like, it's up in the air. Men don't even know what they like. Like, who are we impressing? Men don't know what they like. It's insane. I can't. But I go through it. Women go through it. We all go through it. You know, until we get to that age where we're 80 years old and we can care less what people think. Until we get there, we're gonna care. If people say they net like I say a lot of times that I could care less what people think, but there's still certain people that I do care about what they think. You feel me? Nobody just doesn't care what people think. There's not somebody on the planet that somebody can tell them something and nobody cares. You care. And I think as women, it really hits us deep. It's more than just how we look. It's how we look, how other people see us. Do men like it? Like it's a lot, and it really messes up our heads. So we need to do things for us and not for everybody else. So yeah, I just really wanted to talk about that because I'm seeing it all over my feed, especially on TikTok. It's so bad of just like everybody just wants to be 100 freaking pounds, and it's so unrealistic, and we need to like stop pushing that. I think it's dangerous, and it's not helping anything. So I want everybody to know that you're perfect, that you're beautiful, and you know, like I said, you have the right to want to change things about yourself, but if you are on this journey of changing things about yourself, but you still don't love yourself, is it worth it? Like, keep that in mind. Is it worth it? If the love for yourself isn't growing and it's just depleting and you just want to keep changing it to get it, but nothing is working, then you need to do some more deeper inner soul searching. Trust me. Because nothing, once you get to the point where nothing you watch, nothing anybody says could make you feel less than how you feel about yourself, you're unstoppable, bro. And nothing can make you, you know, want to change that. So keep that in mind. Stay strong. You're all beautiful. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Pieces and blessings. Bye, guys.